How's it going, all you beautiful people? I just want to talk about one topic today. And I was thinking a little bit about it earlier. And the topic is it actually possible in 2026 for Pokemon sealed products to hit MSRP in 2026? And to me, I just don't really think it's likely. I wouldn't ever say something is 100% guarantee, especially when there's so many factors that can happen. But I just don't really see Pokemon prices hitting MSRP in 2026. And here are the reasons why. And I'm not saying that a certain product can't hit MSRP very briefly, but even if something does hit MSRP, I just don't really see it staying there for that long. And here are the reasons why I think that way. So the first thing is, the Charizard UPC, and this one's really funny because I was just curious, so I Googled Charizard UPC Reddit, and I read some Reddit forums from 4 months back when there was a lot of Charizard UPCs getting printed. There's just a lot of people talking about how too much is getting printed, don't buy for MSRP, hold the line, prices will drop, like don't buy this right now, don't buy for MSRP at Target because Costco is going to drop it for $92.50. It was just crazy. And a lot of that claim came on the back of, so there was a report that Pokemon Center dropped 3 million units of Charizard UPCs on just one drop. So I actually did get a Charizard UPC that dropped, and I entered the queue kind of late. So I do think that they did have a lot because I was able to get one and I entered the queue kind of late. And the queue lasted for a decent amount of time. So I don't really know if the 3 million is true. That was a rumor, speculation. I don't know where someone got that from. But I do know that they dropped a good amount. And then following that, Walmart I think had like 2, 3, or 4 big Charizard UPC drops. Target had a whole bunch of Charizard UPCs getting dropped. Even Barnes and Noble had Charizard UPCs dropped. Like every store had Charizard UPCs. Distributors gave out Charizard UPCs to people. And then the big thing, every Costco in the United States got Charizard UPCs, or most Costco's. I guess I shouldn't say every, but every Costco, even around my area, got Charizard UPCs, and they dropped it for $92.50 each, both online and in person. So MSRP of a Charizard UPC is $120, and I do think that the price of the Charizard UPC hit about 130 something at the lowest. Something about that, like don't quote me on that, but I know that I was pretty close to MSRP. But during that time when Costco dropped a whole bunch at $92.50, a lot of people were saying, don't buy this, it's gonna drop lower. Costco's $92.50. It's all over the place. Like people are gonna sell for less than MSRP, and it got pretty close to MSRP because it did hit 130 something, which is pretty close to what Target was selling for. Target did sell for $130, and when they do have it, they do sell for 130. So it was pretty close. But guess what happened? This was just like 4 months ago, 3 months ago, something like that. 3 months later, the Charizard UPCs are over $200 now. So it didn't really matter how much they dropped in such a short period of time. It didn't even matter that Costco dropped it for less than MSRP. It was like 20 to 30% less than MSRP. It didn't really matter that so many of these units were out, that so many people were getting it. 3 months later, it's up not exactly 100%, but creeping pretty close to 100%. And if you did buy from Costco for $92.50, it's up over 100%. So that's just crazy when you think about it that way. So that's like the first thing I was thinking about. The second thing is perfect order. So everyone knows that perfect order isn't the best set out there. A lot of people, it's kind of funny because a lot of people are saying that they want Pokemon products in the wild. They're saying, I just want packs to rip. I just want to be able to rip packs. I don't care what set. Perfect order drops. And then I hear so many people now that are saying, I'm good with perfect order. I opened a couple packs and I don't really want to open it anymore. So what people really meant to say is, I want good packs to rip for MSRP or good boxes to get for MSRP, and I'll either rip them or trade them or sell them or do whatever I want with them because the perfect order demand is not that high. It's the first Pokemon product in a while that's sitting on shelves, and that's very interesting. But even with perfect order not being popular, sitting on shelves, and by the way, perfect order is selling out. It's just selling out at a slower pace. It's not selling out all the time right when it drops, but it is still selling out. If you look on TCG Player, every perfect order item is still over MSRP. And ETB, I think TCG Player, when I checked, because I needed a fact check before this video, at least that, it was like $65. And that's kind of skewed. Like if you look at the lowest listing and the last sold, it's about $70. I think there were some sales for $60, but when something sells, you don't actually see the shipping price. So what I'm assuming is two things. Someone just wanted to get rid of them, or they had a $60 plus $10 shipping or something. But either way, the lowest listing on TCG Player is $70. And that's a couple of the last solds. But even at $60, that's technically, or $65, like TCG's Player is saying, that's technically not MSRP. So even perfect order, it's not MSRP. The booster bundles is like $35, MSRP is $27. The booster box is over $200, MSRP is like $161. So even perfect order, being a set that no one wants, it's still over MSRP, which is crazy because if perfect order doesn't get MSRP or below, what set will hit MSRP or below? The next thing is Pokemon is printing at max capacity, and that's something that people, I feel like, just don't want to accept or don't believe is true. But the reason why Pokemon is building it or bought out a new facility to print out Pokemon products, and part of the facility that's already built will be functional according to reports later next year, is because they're printing to full capacity. They can't print anymore. So all the products that Pokemon is putting out, it's already out there, or they're printing to the max capacity. They can't turn up the printer more because it's printing to max capacity. They wouldn't be buying the biggest lease in the United States last year if they weren't printing to max capacity. That would make no sense, because why would you buy the biggest commercial lease in the United States if you can print more with your current facilities? They obviously needed more printing capabilities. And because the printing facility is not happening until, or not functional until later next year, 2026, I just don't see it slowing down. They're printing to max capacity. Ascended Heroes is going crazy. A lot of sets, even before that, Phantasmal Flames, a lot of people want. Whitefield Black Bolt is doing really well now. I mean, Pokemon's printing Prismatic Evolutions a lot. 30th anniversary products still haven't come out. There's just so much that Pokemon needs to print, but they're already printing to max capacity, so they can't do any more of that. And then the next thing is, kind of goes hand in hand with the printing facility, but people have not been able to get product. And this is one thing why prices of certain boxes are so high. I actually thought about it, and when I actually thought about it, and I do sometimes try to get Pokemon products in the wild, I don't try to spend too much time on that anymore because, to be honest, it's, to me, a lot of times it's kind of a waste of time, because to get any good item that was worth waiting for, you have to wait a very long time. And a lot of times you don't really know with certainty what you're really gonna get until, I don't know, at Target, someone brings in the boxes, and then the boxes are open and you'll know how many of each units they have. So I haven't really been able to get many items. So in the past 2 to 3 months, I've gotten one ETB in the wild, and I got lucky with it. I was driving home from somewhere after doing an errand. I stopped by Barnes and Noble, and there are like 7 people online. So I was like, oh, I'll just wait a little bit, not knowing anything. I waited. Like, I think 10 minutes later, the person that brings in the Pokemon boxes came in. There were Ascended Hero ETBs. I think about 20 of them, if I remember correctly, and I was like 7th in line. So I got a Ascended Heroes ETB. Outside of that, and outside of Perfect Order, because I have been able to get Perfect Order ETBs, and I am happy getting Perfect Order ETBs, but outside of that, in the last 2 months, I've gotten one ETB. And if you think about it, that's just crazy. If you really think about how many people want more Pokemon products than they have, and want more Pokemon products for MSRP that they have, like if you offered every person in the United States an unlimited amount of Ascended Hero ETBs for $50 plus tax, I'm pretty confident that every Pokemon person would at least get one. But most people wouldn't stop at one. If you can get unlimited amounts for MSRP, a lot of people would be like, I want 50, I want 100, I want 20, I want 10. Like, and the fact is, you can't get more than one ETB. Like, you spend 5 hours waiting in line at Target, and some Targets will give you 2. If you're lucky, you get 2 Ascended Hero ETBs after waiting for what, 5 hours? 4 hours, getting lucky also. And a lot of times you don't get anything. Like, getting 2 ETBs is nice, but getting 2 ETBs isn't going to solve anything. Getting 2 Ascended ETBs isn't going to solve anything. If you're ripping it, 18 packs, like, what are you going to do with 18 packs? that's not enough to do anything. So there's a lot of people that want product that can't get it. And because of that, there's a market price. Because if someone listed Ascended Hero ETBs for $55, let's just say 55 because it's $50 plus tax, everyone would want it. Like, that's a problem. And that's why there is a market price. Demand, supply, the demand of Ascended Heroes is way way higher than the supply of Ascended Heroes. And you can see that for a lot of sets. Phantasmal Flames. Phantasmal Flames has gone crazy. And why has it gone crazy? It's because there's not a lot on the market. The only place you can get Ascended Heroes are Phantasmal Flames right now. There's like a small Walmart shop, but I'm assuming a lot of the bots just took it all because I don't really know anyone that does online drops manually that got it from Walmart. Maybe there's like one or two or a couple people that just fell through and got lucky and got it, but most of it's going to bots. So Phantasmal Flames, you can only get it from machines, but even machines are hard. There's people camping machines. Everyone's at machines. I don't even check machines anymore. I don't even bother going there even when it's on a route somewhere because I just know that most of the time someone's going to be camping it. You have to keep track of like when the item's going to come out, and there's just too much to it, so I don't check that either. So there's so many factors going into the reason why Pokemon products will most likely, in my opinion, not hit MSRP in 2026. I'm not saying 2027 won't change that. Like, let's see what the printing facility does. Later 2027, when a part of the printing facility goes out, maybe it will change it, but maybe not, because it really depends on two things at the printing facility. One, how much demand grows in the Pokemon hobby from now until whenever the part of the printing facility is available. Because I'm just going to say random numbers, and this isn't based on anything. Let's say the Pokemon population doubles. People that are in the Pokemon hobby doubles. I don't think the printing facility is going to do anything because they're not going to be able to print, I'm assuming, double of what they're printing now. But if the printing facility, if the people in the Pokemon hobby remains the same, maybe they'll do something. But I also don't know. There's not a lot of facts out there. You don't know if the printing facilities are going to be able to print 10% more than they're printing now, 50% more than they're printing now, 100% more than they're printing now. Like, there's a big difference. If they're only able to print 10% more than they're printing now, that's not really going to change much. If they're able to print 1000% more than they're doing now, of course that'll affect a lot. So it really depends on facts like that too, because we don't really have that. But that was just on my mind. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think that Pokemon products can hit MSRP in 2026. And if you do think that they can, let me know why. I'm kind of curious. Other than just wanting them to hit MSRP in 2076. I do get that a lot of people want them to hit MSRP, but this topic is more about, do you realistically think, with everything going on and with all the facts out there, that Pokemon products can hit MSRP in 2026? And maybe you still do. So if you do, let me know in the comments why you think so. And if you don't think that Pokemon products will hit MSRP in 2026, and it's for a reason that I didn't state, I'd like to hear that too. I'm always open to hearing other people's opinions as long as they're based on something and not purely emotions and things of that sort. And I've had really good conversations on YouTube with people just discussing various things and people in DMs. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And if you watched up to this far, I really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my YouTube. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers because that's the first step to get to the YouTube partner program. I'm far away, I'm 300 something, so it will be a grind. And follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Everything is tcgcollectorshouse. Drop a comment, drop an upvote. It really does help with the algorithm of showing the video to other people, which is probably the hardest thing with YouTube because there's so many content creators out there. But most importantly, only do that if you've enjoyed watching the video, and I do really appreciate you watching. That's the most important thing, especially if you're here up to this point, and I'll see you next time.